Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we'll be drawing a cat girl and I will be also animating this. This particular piece was actually created from something I just wanted to do for myself. I typically do draw us in your own styles, or I will do like other people's artwork in my style, something similar to that. And this is actually a piece for me. I just decided to draw her, and I wanted to draw a cat girl that I could animate because I'm still focusing and working on animation. So when I drew the cat girl, I didn't really know how to draw her hair. And I was actually watching Bridgerton series, the last season, and I decided to do this curly side hair type thing because, I don't know, I guess all the girls in the show had like really curly hair, or they had it parted on one side, or they had it up like an updo. So that's where I kind of got the idea from for her hair. I also have been on a kick to seeing emotes, and a lot of emotes are like chibi and cute, and that's why I kind of drew her kind of chibi-ish and young and cute, mostly because of that idea. Once I drew her, I was trying to figure out what to do for the background, so I actually created these little paw prints, which I do animate later, and I thought, that'd be a cute idea. I kind of struggled with the background. Oh, here I'm watching Christmas movies, and that one is, of course, Bad Santa. But this time of year, I watch a lot of Christmas movies, even the corny ones, the romantic corny ones where they don't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's fun to watch. Hallmark, I always, this time of year, I'm just always into that Christmas spirit. I love going to see Christmas lights, so I'm a very holiday person. That's why you'll see a lot of Christmas now. So I went off on a tangent. Back to talking about this piece. So I really wanted to do kind of an eye thing. I wanted to actually have her eyes blink, but I didn't animate them that way. I was trying new things with Procreate Dreams. There's kind of limited things that you can do with these type of animations. It's a big program, but there's also limitations to it. So guys, I've decided that I'm going to try some live 2D. Now this one is not live 2D, it is Procreate Dreams, but I am going to start animating probably my own rigged character, and it's my Moth Girl character that I have been showing in my videos. I want to start by rigging her, and then I might be doing a kit rig, like Kit the Kitsune, my OC. I also was thinking about OCs too, and I would love to make a steampunk OC. So I'm thinking about making a future video about that. But lately I've been watching tutorials on how to make really cool eye animations for live 2D, because my goal is to make a very popping character. I don't know how in depth I want to get with live 2D. I mean, there's some pretty crazy stuff that people do on live 2D. I follow on X, and then I also follow on YouTube. I don't know how detailed I'm gonna get. Just starting out, I kind of want to be a little bit more simple, and then as I get used to the program, get a little bit more and more complicated. Guys, I've loved my animations. I'm so excited. I eventually want to make VTuber assets, and maybe if it's something y'all are interested in purchasing, if y'all are VTubers or interested in purchasing VTuber stuff, I am super excited. I want to be able to create it, I want to be able to rig it, and I want it to look amazing. So there were a few things I really learned with this piece. There are things that I really liked with this piece, and there are things that I feel like I could have done better. One of the things that I didn't really like about this piece is I wish the animation was a little bit longer, and maybe I'll recreate the animation and create a little bit longer animation, but for now it's fine. I learned a lot. I think one of the things that I'm going to really start doing is creating the behind portions to some of these, I don't know, like hair, clothing, that sort of thing. And the reason is because when I did this, I just did colors behind it, and I had to fix it in the animation. So I think it's just easier when you create each individual piece. Like, so I should have created her shoulder, I should have made her clothing, but instead I kind of went lazy and just added colors, so when it moved you could just see the colors, and unfortunately I had to kind of correct some of it, and I think it just would have made it so much easier if I just created the shoulder and the clothes behind the hair, so when the thing animated it didn't look funky. Other than that, I feel like I am super proud of this particular piece. I think it has given me a spark to create more animated characters, more animated stuff. I absolutely love animation. I think it's my passion to create animated things. So that is why I'm starting to dive into Live 2D. I want to create rig stuff. I want to create animated rigs. I'm super excited about that. Whereas I think Procreate Dreams, I can create more just animated GIFs or animated movie stuff, which is pretty cool in and of itself. And I'm probably going to focus there on that. But with rigged stuff, I'm going to really dive into that and try to create things there. So I want to talk about some of the things that I need to work on in my art. And the reason I talk about this is because when an artist draws, I think it's important to reflect back on that art that you just drew. And that's why I reflect on the things that I need to improve upon. And one of the things I noticed is my line art, I want it to be a little bit cleaner. I typically draw fairly thick line art, some thin, mostly thick line art. And I want to get better at drawing a little bit more cleaner line art. Especially when it comes to Live 2D and trying to rig something. Most artists' line art is very clean and looks really, really good. And I really want to get back into focusing on cleaning up that line art, cleaning up my art and making it look better, and probably spending a little bit more time on the details. Something that I have not been exceptionally good at is focusing on details, but that's okay because I think diving into this will force me into getting into those little nitty-gritty details. When doing Live 2D art, you have to basically chop up every single piece of the art that you want moving for Live 2D. You have to chop it and cut it into sections, and some of these sections, like the eyes, could be 20 or more layers. And so that's kind of why I want to really focus on details to see what do I want in the eyes to be moving parts, which parts do I not care as much about. And that's why I kind of want to make somewhat a simplistic drawing when it comes to Live 2D to start, and then get more and more complicated as it goes. When animating these pictures, I still have to kind of chop it up and think about it the same way. Like, what do I want moving? How do I want it to move? And a lot of that matters when you're doing animation, because when you're trying to rig it instead of drawing frame by frame, rigging it and chopping it into pieces, it matters how much you want to move. How detailed you want it to be is based on how you chop it up and how much you want to chop it up. And then of course you need your computer to be able to do what you want it to do. So when you chop it up, you have to not do too much of it, because then you can overload your computer. So it's kind of a balance and a fight. Back to this piece, when I drew her hair, I wanted to do kind of a pink and blue sparkly looking type hair. Now, I didn't think about doing the stars in the hair until later, and I thought, oh, that looks really good, so I kept it. Really loved how that turned out. I like sparkly things in general, so making her hair twinkle I thought was kind of a cool touch. Pretty much here I'm just touching up the areas that I want to basically pop, so adding more color to areas and then blending in other colors to make it just look better. And then once I got towards the end where I was trying to figure out the background, I kind of struggled to figure out what I wanted to do with the background. I ended up just deciding to pick something out in my manga brushes that I have, and I added basically a pink background, as you can see here. And I think this just turned out really, really good. I left it like with the plaid, and then I added a spray around with white to kind of have a fade look. I think with this piece, I was overall really, really happy. I think this piece turned out pretty good, and honestly, it gives me inspiration to do more things similar to this, like rigging. So I think that this is really a transitional piece, if you will, for me to transition to a little bit more difficult things. In essence, this part, I have the line art separated from the colors, and then after this, I pretty much add the line art together. This is the end result of the artwork completed. So yeah, I think she's super cute. I'm really happy with her. So then after this, let's get to animating her. So the first things first is I take all the layers and basically stick it here into Procreate Dreams, and then you have to I take in each individual layer and move them to where you can see the full picture. and then I resized the picture, and then I started on the paw prints first. So I kind of wanted a little walking paw print type animation. And this is very, very simple. You just basically cut each one into the timing sequence. And so I cut them to basically look like they were moving. And then I did it and created a whole nother one. So that was a pretty easy animation. That's why I didn't really go into depth with it, mostly because it's just a super simple animation. So next then I go pretty much into the ribbons and I move them and warp them to look how I want them to look. I think I did this one and then I redid it later because I didn't really like how it moved. So the first time I did it, it may not be exactly how I completed the ribbon part, but each individual piece of hair and ribbon, I use 3 different tools. So Procreate Dreams has a scale and move tool, a warping tool, and a distort tool. And each tool can be used differently, and then you can add different masks to play with the tool. So like here I do the eyes. I'm just doing a simple move tool where I have the eyes moving back and forth, up and down, back and forth. And while you're moving the tool, you want to put the record button, which is the square there, and it records the movements that you are making in Procreate Dreams. And a lot of these are very simplistic. They're just very simplistic, easy tools, and you can do a lot with these tools depending on how you want to animate your character or move it around. So typically I warp the hair and move it so it makes it look like a breeze is running through her curls. And then same goes for her ribbons. I do want to note though, and I usually say this in my videos, I speed up a lot of this process because it's a lot of playing with it and looking at it and see if it looks good. And so this process, it looks a little bit more sped up than the actual animation is. Normally I do my animations at 8 seconds. Like I said, this one, I think I did a little bit too fast. This one I did at around, I think 4.5 seconds or 5 seconds, which seemed a little bit fast. Not usually the way I do my animations. Like I said, I usually do it a little bit longer, like 8 seconds, and it loops it a little bit better. This one I don't think looped as well as I could have looped it, and that's just something I can fix in the future. It's just, I just didn't do it for this one. So here I section off her hair and her bangs to basically warp and move her bangs differently as well. And so I sectioned it off into 3 sections to move her hair on the top of her head apart from her curls. Typically this is done in most rig models, is that the bangs and all that are also separated from the longer hair. And then if you want to get really detailed, you can have the longer hair move and then even cut off the ends of the longer hair to make those even shake and move when you're rigging something. At the end here, I did her little ears and moved her ears up and down. I don't know if I really liked it or not. I don't know. I think the ears looked a little bit off in my opinion, but I mean, it's still cute. I think it all the way turned out just fine. I just think if I were to redo it, the ears might be done a little bit differently. So to basically recap the animation, I chopped her curls individually, her ears individually, and the bangs in her hair. And then I also chopped the 2 ribbons with the little bells to add the effect to that as well. And then I had the little palm prints moving in the background. Again, guys, this is a very, very simple animation. It is a very simple, it's not that complicated. You can get a little more complicated with Procreate Dreams. I've seen tutorials where some of the artists get really complicated with this, but this is just a very simplistic, I think looks good, cute little animation. And it's really easy, fairly easy for any artist if they just want to animate their drawings just a little bit. It's very simple. So here's the end result of the animation. Guys, I hope you liked it. The only thing I would change differently about it is probably move her eyes, have her eyes move back a little bit slower. Other than that, if you guys liked this video, like and subscribe to my videos. And if you'd like to see more of my animated videos, I will be doing more, and I'll be doing some Light 2D stuff. So look forward to that in the future. And like I always say, don't quit creating, artists.